Welcome to Contractor Cuts, where we cover the good, the bad, and the ugly of growing a successful contracting company.
Welcome back to Contractor Cuts. My name is Clark Turner.
I'm Jared Flo.
Thank you for joining us again this week. So today we are diving in to how do you transition from being the boss to being the leader? You know, everyone's like, I'm the leader of this company. You're not a leader unless you have people following you, right?
That's right.
You can't lead others. You can't be a leader unless there are followers that are saying, hey, that's the leader here. That's the person I want to follow into battle. This is the person that has my back and is part of the team. We have a lot of companies we coach that come in here and they have the guy that owns the company, the girl that owns the company, and they are the do as I say, not as I do. I'm gonna be kind to everyone. I'm gonna be good to everybody, but they aren't a leader. They are just the boss there. And so, what is the difference? How do we transition from one to the other, and how do we lean into the leader side? This is something that we dive deep on our retreat, and so we're covering it here as well. But this is also a big topic we dove into on our retreats that we do with our coaching clients. So that's what we're covering today, and how to do that. So getting started with that, I want to compare two things. A boss organizes a company, manages the expenses, payroll, budget, they do process creation, implementation, they hire and they fire. They are firefighters that fix when things break, right? That's what you're doing day in and day out. They're in charge. Yeah. And that's what most guys in their companies are doing right now. Those things, that's what I'm doing. What else do I need to be doing? I'm the leader here. That's what I'm doing. That is the boss's job. That's baseline. Everyone's doing that.
Yep.
To add the second layer of being the leader of the company, you have to have a vision for the company and every employee inside of that company, right? If you're 2-3 layers up, you need at least the person above the project, right? For us, our head of construction needs to know what the project manager's vision is in the company. Personally, professionally, I have a vision of what's happening here. I know what's going on, and I can communicate that a vision of the company in an attainable way, right? Where, if I've got multiple like for us, we've got multiple states, and our general managers in charge of knowing the leaders of each of those areas and what they are. And those leaders need to know what their project managers, the vision is for them in that company.
Yep.
Right. And so casting that vision, having that vision, we're going to talk about in a second. Another thing that sets you apart as a leader is consistently acting in a way that builds your employees' trust and creating a way that they can be trusted by you, right? And so it's not just a one-way thing, right? It is a, how do I build where you trust me, but at the same time, you feel like you've got trust in you from this company.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the third one is every employee feels like they can come to you for support, right? You are a safe place, and you are the knight in shining armor when everything looks like it's going downhill. I'm going to come in, give support, build you back up, and we're going to win this together.
Yeah, and one of the realities about that one, if you are not aware of that one and not working on it, you can feel sure that there's a lot of stuff going on in your company you have no idea about. Because people, even when you create the space for that, for a open opportunity for people to come and talk to you and just have conversations, ask questions or whatever, when you've made that clear, the people that work for you still avoid it.
That's right.
Right. Even when it's clear and you try to make it, so if you're not aware of it and you're not making it a thing, feel for sure there are a lot of people out there that don't like you, don't want to talk to you, think you're an idiot, whatever, and you have no idea because they're not going to talk to you about it.
Yeah. And when it comes to supporting people,
right,
it's a two-way street in terms of I need feedback from this employee. I need to know how I can support them better, how they feel untrusted. All three of these things, vision, trust, and support, are the three things that I need two-way feedback. Because if I don't care what you're like, I do that stuff, but he just doesn't see it.
Yep.
Perception is reality with employees, right? If they perceive you as you don't care for them, that's the reality in your company, right? No matter how much you do, I do care. That's stupid that he thinks that. If that's what's reality for your company, right? And that's the unfairness of being a leader, right? I'm always the one shouldering that and having to make sure that their perception is correct and checking in, because I don't know how many times, but when we've done check-ins, when we've gotten feedback, when we've sat down and talked, we're like, wait, you feel that? Like, we've done some surveys and stuff like that internally. And it's like, I didn't realize that guy was feeling that. And to see that and hear that, it's like, okay, that's good to know. Let's sit down and approach that and show them the support that we have for them and why, and try and clear up any misconceptions that they have.
Right.
So the three things that I want to be giving, and this is going to get complicated, so I'm going to try to be very basic, as well as, we don't have the slideshow like we had on the retreat to where it kind of lays it all out. But there's really three tiers. I'm going to give you what they are and then an example of it. So you've got the internal needs of your employees, right? The internal needs. What does a human as an employee at your company need? The internal needs are the top line we'll talk about.
Yeah.
The next are going to be the feelings that I'm going to imprint on my employee. That's the next level down. So how do I give them that internal need fulfillment? Is I imprint some feelings on you.
Right.
And then the third level down is the actions I take to imprint those feelings, right? So the actions lead to imprinting feelings, which leads to connecting with your internal need. And now this works anywhere. Like you use any sort of interaction. A great metaphor, or really a great example of what I'm talking about is action, your action, the feelings that are received, and then what it's speaking to internally. If I say, Jared, you are so stupid, that's my action. The feeling is, Clark thinks I'm stupid, that's disrespectful, I'm kind of angry about that, screw that guy. What it's the internal need,
the outcome,
and the internal need. What I'm really saying to Jared is, I don't think you're trustworthy. I don't think you're worth liking. I don't think you're smart enough, and you aren't feeling this sense of security and belonging here because this guy doesn't even like me, and this is what's all going. So there's that internal, what you're speaking to, the actions that you're doing, and in the middle is the feelings that you're imprinting on them. If that makes sense.
Right.
So in a company, the internal of what people need are security, belonging, and purpose. Those are the three things that I want every employee to feel at my company.
Right.
Internally, subconsciously, they might not even realize it, but I feel secure here.
That sounds like it's also in a priority order as well.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. I want them to feel secure. They know we've got their back. They know we've covered our bases. They know that their pay is coming next week. They know that they can get a mortgage because their money will be continuing coming in. They also know that if I'm happy with them. They know when I'm not happy with them. Right? They know when they've failed, and that's okay. Let's talk about why. Right? I'm not talking about the results. I'm talking about how you respond to the results. And so you feel secure here because I'm not constantly criticizing you, but all building you up to do better next time. So that's the security. The belonging is, man, that was good input. That's great information. You can help us build what we're doing here. And then the purpose. Why are you doing this job? If the purpose here is to make a paycheck, I mean, obviously that's the baseline purpose for everybody. No one's working for a company for free. But on top of that, I want to make money, but I want to serve a purpose and growth and bigger and change homeowners' lives and build a homeowner a house or build out a dentist's office because the purpose of connecting with your customer and how does that work, as well as what are we doing as a company to serve a greater purpose as a company, right? So if I can get you to feel those three things as an employee, it's success. And the way I do that, or what we just covered in the beginning, is feelings. I give you vision. I build two-way trust, and I give you support. Those three things communicate security, belonging, and purpose. Right? That's how we build that. So if at the end of the day, Jared's like, you know what, Clark, the vision here, the trust we have in each other, and the support that you give me is why I'm here. This is a home run. This is a win. It's a win. Right? So that's the goal of what I'm trying to get my employee to feel: trust. Vision, trust, and support.
Well, and some of the benefit of that is, I think, as anybody who's listening to this in our industry, there's some really good highs, great opportunities, and things that happen, but the lows are hard. When money's a struggle, when jobs go sideways, when clients are crazy, when they're mad at you, when you make a horrible mistake on a job site, and and that sometimes when it rains, it pours a lot of times, right? And so there'll be a string of like 3 or 4 or 5 jobs that it's like, oh my gosh, I'm the worst, I'm horrible, and blah, 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 blah. These are the things that keep your employees continuing on.
In
right?
construction, the weapons are plenty, the roses are few, right?
Yeah, that's
it's
right.
like everyone's out to get me. When I do something as well as I thought I could, the customer's still not happy and they're angry with me. I give them a good product but your crew left that trash on the counter. So, but it feels like we're constantly being berated as a project manager, as a crew, as an office manager, getting yelled at, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So my job is to combat that, right? To come in at the other side as a leader here and be the little bit of roses that they get. I'm not going to say, hey, that's fine that you failed and lost us $20,000 on that job. No big deal. It's not that, but it's, hey, we all screw up. Let's learn from it. I don't care about how you screwed up. I care about how we recover from that screw up and that not happen again. Like we're all learning here, right?
Well, and that's also the PAL meetings. That's the kind of point and purpose of where we want the PAL meetings to get to. Not the principal's office, not another place where you're going to get berated for the crap that you've done wrong, but a place that you can find that support, find that direction, find that vision, get recentered, and feel like, okay, I still got it. I'm good, right? And, and that's a tangible place in our company where we actually apply that.
Yep. So now the final question and where we're spending today's podcast, what are the actions I take to make people feel like they've got trust and there's a vision and there's support? Right. That is the key to what we need to learn. So knowing what I'm trying to let you feel as my employee. And here's the thing, what we're about to cover, these 5 things, you cannot fake this stuff. Now you can change and do it a different way than you normally do. Like I can do something differently because, that's how I convey my feelings towards you. But if I don't have those feelings, you shouldn't be working here. Right. If I don't want you here, if I don't want to trust you, if we've broken trust and it's not going to be rebuilt,
there's a problem.
Then this is all of this done in a false way, just to do it, to try and make someone feel a certain way, the manipulative way. Right. It is so transparent. Yep. And so all of this is not, hey, do these things, pull the wool over your employees' eyes and trick them into liking you. And this isn't in employees. This works in family. This works with your crews, with your labor, all of that. But being the leader is you have to feel these things where I want to give you trust. I want to show vision of where you're here long-term with us. Yeah. If I'm like, Jared's not going to be here long-term. Yeah. I'm going to let you go as an employee because if I can't see you here long term, then I can't cast a vision. I'm lying to you and I'm being inauthentic to you. So,
well, and one of the things that comes to mind is the idea of kind of the mind shift between a boss who's more of a dictator. I'm in charge. The buck stops with me. You guys work for me and just do what I tell you to do. Right. Some of the most successful business owners and leaders in any of all industries say that I have the perspective that my employees don't work for me, I work for my employees. And that perspective of I'm here to serve them, to make sure that they have everything that they need to be successful. And that is vision and the way that you talk to them and the support of the things that they need, all of those different things. If you have that perspective of like, now with what you were just talking about, the different things where like, if you're faking it, it's going to be fake. That's a different problem, right? There's an issue with that employee and whatever. But if you have the mentality of I'm doing these things because I'm here to serve them, because the better they get, the better I get, the better the company gets. And so that kind of shift of mentality from a boss to a leadership, that's one pivotal one in my brain.
Well, and you think about it, we preach there are 2 products you're selling. That brand new kitchen, that brand new house, whatever your industry is that you're servicing, that's the baseline product that they can buy on any shelf. What we're really selling is the customer's experience of receiving that product. Right. And so that is what sets us apart, and that's what we're selling. And what is that product? That's our project managers. Our project managers are our all-stars because they are delivering the product and are the face of the company. So especially in construction, I am a support role as a boss because I am not the all-star. I'm not the guy that goes out and the top seller as the leader of the company and everyone else is selling and watching me and supporting me. Right. It's reverse. I'm not talking to customers unless things are going wrong. And so because of that, I have to support you so you could be the face of this company. So going into it, let's cover the 5 things. So there's 5 different things action-wise that you should be doing in your company to cause your employees to feel like you are the leader.
Right.
All right. I'm going to list them all out, then we'll kind of go through them one at a time. Ownership is the first one. Effort is the second one. Rhetoric is the third one. Bear with me. We'll define that, but it's an important one.
Yep.
Compassion is the fourth one. And the stabilizer is the fifth one. Write those 5 things down if you're listening to this. Ownership, effort, rhetoric, compassion, stabilizer. So we're going to go through those right now and what each of those means and how that lands. And we're going to try to keep this to a good time because we can talk for about 3 hours on this. So first thing is ownership. Jared, what in your mind do we mean by ownership as a leader?
Well, the reality that one of the things that I tell a lot of the people that I coach is that to be a good leader, you can't point fingers, right? The idea that I have to own everything that happens in my company. If something goes wrong, if an employee isn't doing what they need to be doing, if they're not executing well, is it because they're a bad person? Is it because they don't want to do it? Or the reality is that I need to own either I've hired the wrong person, me problem. I haven't communicated well to that person, or they didn't understand, right? And I needed to help them understand. I communicated well, but they didn't understand it, right? So all of those different things amongst everything else in your company, you don't have enough cash flow because money's not coming in the invoices aren't being collected on well, right? I can very easily point and be like, hey, project manager, why aren't you collecting on these different things? But if I haven't given him specific directions on how to do that, how to set the client up with the reason why, like all the things that helps them be able to collect that, that's a me problem. So ownership is the idea that everything flows from me, and I have to be able to view it from that direction.
Not only ownership for you too is I want to impart ownership on my employees.
Correct.
And so for us, and you covered exactly, everything is my fault. And that's me down. Every job, as the owner of the company, every job site we're on is my fault if we mess it up. Even if I've never set foot, never met that homeowner, it is my fault because either I hired the wrong person, I put the wrong process in place, we didn't have the right accountability in place for those guys, we didn't have the support structure in place for whatever it is, that's on me. So that is where we baseline start. But that goes downhill. I also want you as my employee to feel everything that you have job-wise and below you is your fault if it messes up.
That's right.
And now I'm going to claim up to be my fault as the umbrella. But a great example we use is when you go to a restaurant, you sit down, and the waitress comes over and is like, "Hey, what do you want? I'm really slammed. I got what do you want?" Right? And so, sorry, I just we'll start with some waters, I guess. We haven't even looked at the menu. Okay, I'll be back. Right. You get that service from that waiter, waitress, whatever it is. They come back 30 minutes later. Sorry, I'm slammed. Like, what do you guys need? Right? And they are rushed, and they are rude, and they are annoyed. That server, maybe 3 different servers didn't show up, right? And maybe they're in there, and 2 chefs are sick and out, and the hostess isn't doing the right thing. All of that's probably true. To you as the customer, all you're seeing is this restaurant has rude people. This restaurant is rude. The truth of it is that the waitress needs to be the owner of the issue for herself, and the boss above her needs to own the issues as well.
She's pointing the finger at everything else that is not her fault that's causing it to be so stressful.
No, 2 people called out sick. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Like, that's not my problem as the customer. That's not mine. And so I want leadership to go downhill where I own everything, and then all of my employees own what's their responsibility and below them.
And if you're a boss and you expect people to take ownership like that, but you're the boss that's constantly pointing fingers at everybody's mistakes and doing the things wrong, and it's never my fault, it's their fault, how are they going to follow your lead?
So if I'm the manager of that restaurant and you're being a rude waiter to the customers, if I'm saying, why are you so rude? Stop being rude. You can't be rude. This is your job. I'm saying it is your fault. Right? For me as the leader, I'm saying, hey, I am so sorry that we understaffed this. I'm running tables as well. What can I do to support you? We got to show these customers that we care about them. That's saying the exact same thing. You feel supported. I'm building that trust with you, and now there's an ownership that you're not at fault of this, but I need you to help me clean this up.
Yep.
Like, we got some issues in this company.
I had recently a place that we had attended. Every aspect of it, everywhere we went in there, the people, the staff made us feel like we were a burden.
Yep.
Like we were in their way. We were a nuisance. Like, and it wasn't just one person. It was all over the place.
Yeah.
It was from the front desk person to the office person. It was all over. And so I ended up having a conversation with one of the upper management people and said, hey, I just want to let you know this was our experience. And to me, that means that there's a leadership issue, because that's the way the employees are being taught to act.
Yes.
And it was received well and whatever. Don't know if any changes happened, but it's that same mentality of like, it wasn't this person, that person, or this person. It was like, because there were multiples of them within the same company, like, we got a leadership issue here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. That's right. So that's number one, ownership. And again, that goes downhill. And like you were saying, like, we've said this a million times about other things. We set the bar to wherever we want to set it as leaders, and everyone else is going to come up a little short. So if I'm blaming my project manager for everything, like, you're an idiot, it's your fault, why did you do this? Why did you do this? Mm-hmm. They're saying the same thing to the homeowner. They're carrying on the torch of,
sorry, it's not my fault. The crew.
Like, what do you why don't you give me my stuff? We're going to own it, because you need to own it.
Yeah, well, and that goes all the way down to when we're talking about our project management process, and we're training our project managers. One of the things that we are very clear to say is that there's no opportunity for you of passing the ball of ownership or responsibility to somebody else. You're the project manager. You own the ball of this job getting done. So it doesn't matter if you're waiting on the glass guy to get the glass enclosure done and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't come back to me with that answer. Yeah. What are you doing about it?
I'm fine with hearing a reason. I don't want to hear an excuse.
That's right.
And I want to hear the reason and what you're doing to fix it.
Yeah.
All right. So that's number one, is ownership. Number two is effort. Mm-hmm. So for us, effort is you set the bar as to how work and rest is done within your company. Mm-hmm. That's number one. Number two, effort is putting action behind words. It's not do as I say, do as I say, not as I do. That type of mentality.
Right.
I'm not putting in the effort, but I expect you to, because I'm paying your bills.
Yeah.
And your why is the end result of what you are building. Mm-hmm. Right. Your employees' why is their journey, experience, and the end result of their personal journey. So breaking that down, my why as the owner of this company is where this company is going. So everything we're doing is, I want to retire one day. I want to start making double what I'm making now in 2 years from here. I want to do this. That's me as the owner. I can't put that on you. Your why is your personal journey.
Yep.
What your wife, your kids, the house you're living in, that's your why. And so I need to respect that why, and my effort needs to be towards that why, right? So I'm setting the bar. I'm following through with effort, because as much as I do, that's where people are going to be doing. And I'm not do as I say, not as I do. Now, granted, I've stepped out of our construction company mostly.
Right.
I've checked in. I've got my schedule of what I'm supposed to be doing there, but I'm not working 40, 50 hours a week there anymore.
Right.
And so it's not that I'm not giving the effort. It's when I did step out of that, we defined to every employee, this is my new job role. I am only doing these things, and that's okay. So it's not like I've got to outwork everybody and be on every job site for 80 hours a week. It's not that. No. It is effort to complete the job that I am promising you that I'm going to do for you.
Yeah.
So as a boss, as the head of construction of your company, where you've got 4 PMs underneath you, your job and effort is to do your POW meetings on Friday. I want to do them well, be prepared for it, show up with it 100% buttoned up, ready to go, because I put the effort in to make your job better than it is today. Right. I'm putting the effort to give you support, to how to build that trust with you, to talk through vision of where you're going with this job and with the job in general. I'm putting that effort in because that's my job. That doesn't mean that maybe that the owner of the company has to do that with every single person. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, and one of the other things that I think about effort is the word intentional comes to mind when I think about effort, right? Is that it's not just effort, but it's actually intentional effort. It's things that I've thought through of like, I need to make sure that I am being intentional in this specific area. And one of the examples is something that tell a little bit about you, but you are very driven and focused on forward movement and things getting done and rubbing shoulders, and you don't mind being around people, but it's not your go-to, right? But you knew that when we were, in the GC company, that the people in the company just needed to see you, right? Even if it was standing around the coffee maker, whatever, for at least a minute, just to have a ho-hum, has nothing to do with business conversation. It wasn't your natural bent. But you knew the people in your company needed that. And so you would literally put on your calendar, go spend time with people.
Yeah.
It's not your natural bent. You don't think that direction, but you knew the value of putting effort behind, I need to be in front of my people because it's good for them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It creates that connection. It creates that trust. It creates, it's just good for the balm of the company, right?
Yeah.
And so, again, like you put intentional effort behind something that you weren't naturally good at, that wasn't your go-to, but you knew it was something that your people in the company needed from you. Just like the people in the company need, the project managers need for the manager to be on time with the PAL meetings and prepped and ready, and they're putting the effort in to make sure that they're serving this person well.
Yep.
That's just an example of something that I've seen done. Yeah.
Cool. So, effort number 2, you got to be putting that in.
Yeah.
Number 3 is rhetoric. Now, some people might have to Google that word. It's rhetoric. Yeah. Rhetoric is how you phrase and talk to people in a way that they can understand it, and the way that it connects to a lot of times it could be conceived as negative, where oh, that's just a bunch of rhetoric that you're speaking. Well, I'm trying to say something so you perceive it a certain way. I'm trying to twist the truth or that sort of thing. But in my case, and where I feel and why I put it in there is I need to understand. And on the retreat we did where we went through Enneagrams. And if you ever look at an Enneagram, it's not a religious thing. It is a personality trait where everyone falls into 1 to 9 categories in their personality. You can take the test and you can understand, but it really helps
helpful.
Helps you understand how other people perceive you and how you're perceived. And so with that being said, understanding how to say something to someone where they can receive it. I've always said, unless I know what you need, I can't tell you what I want.
Correct.
Right? Unless I know what Jared needs, I can't tell him what I want from him. And so a great example, Jared is a 2 on the Enneagram. I'm an 8 on the Enneagram.
Yep.
I am a head down, bull in a china shop. I don't, things over people. If I can show you we're successful, then you'll be happy. And Jared is opposite. Jared's like people over things. If we can connect and I can make sure you're happy, then I know you're happy.
Right.
And so we have 2 different total approaches. But that being said, we have a good way to approach the other person. When Jared comes and talks to me, he's not going to give me 20 minutes of pleasantries. Right. He's going to like, Clark, this, and this, this, and this, bottom line it for me and give it to me, because he knows that's how I receive information well.
If I spend 5 to 10 minutes on the wind up of the pitch, by the time I get to the pitch, you've zoned out and gone somewhere else. Right.
Yeah. Or I'm saying, hey, what are you trying to say?
Yeah, that's right.
But and vice versa. Like I need to explain it to you. I need to lay it out. I need you to understand that I saw you and what I was planning, but also like I think it's better to do it this way. Sometimes
a absolute direct approach with me spells out there's something wrong.
Yes.
Right.
It's a condemnation on you, not the work that you did. If you turned over something and I asked you to get something put together and it comes in and I'm like, that's terrible.
Right.
I know that you're taking that as you put 100% of your effort in, and if this is terrible, then I'm terrible.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just personality wise. That's okay. That's in your bad space.
Yeah.
You're usually not that way. I'll give you credit, but it's helpful for this to really lean into when you're in a bad mental space.
Yeah.
But
I feel really bad about myself.
all right, and go ahead and take your clothes off. This is going to be a totally embarrassing podcast for you. No, but with that being said, understanding the people that you're leading, the people around you, your spouse, understanding your parents, understanding all those, it not only helps me frame things towards you, But also when I hear things or I hear someone that I'm like, oh, that person is giving it to me this direction and I do not like it. Oh, that's just how they like to receive it. So
Right.
let me give them a little grace.
Yeah.
Let me kind of try to understand what they're saying and regurgitate it. But if I can understand, I give feedback, criticism, arguments the way that I want to receive it.
Yep.
And so what I need to do as a leader is understand, how do you want to receive it?
Yep.
What's the best way to get this across to you? Because if I come in and do it the way I like it, you're not going to hear me.
Yep.
And so that doesn't help as a leader. Again, it's not fair to be the leader, but I'm the one in charge of our conversation being on a level that you can understand it.
Right.
Me understanding it is that doesn't matter. I need to make sure that I'm talking in a way that you understand what we're talking about and that you can connect, be heard, be seen, feel supported, feel
Yep.
that trust and vision growing. And this is, again, it's not manipulation. It's leading through telling you what I want you to hear in a way that you can hear it.
Well, and that's where I was going. One of the interesting things about rhetoric is when you get good at it, right? When it's a developed skill to learn how to know people, understand how they receive information, and to speak to them that way, right? It's a skill that you learn, and as you get better at it, there will be times where people accuse you of trying to mix words to manipulate them.
Yep.
Right? It's just going to happen, and your job is to assess that and say, okay, is that right?
Yeah.
Because there is a possibility. Because when you get good at it, there's a possibility that you can
Absolutely.
you can manipulate people, and so the test of that to decide whether I'm manipulating or leading is pretty simple. What's my motivating factor? If my motivating factor is selfish, I'm going to say whatever needs to be said so that I can get what I want.
Yeah.
You're manipulating.
Yep.
Right? If your focus of this conversation was there's an outcome that's positive for you for the reason why you're having the conversation, but I'm doing this for the benefit of me and you, the person I'm talking to. I need for you to be able to know and understand this, and I need to be able to relay it to you in a fashion that you're going to understand.
And that goes along with the vision. I know where Jared wants to be in this company.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to help correct this. So next time you're working towards where you're going to be. You're going to come into leadership. You're going to be moving up this.
Right.
And so a correction is not me trying to get you to do what I want.
Mm-hmm.
It's me trying to call you into the vision that we've casted together for where you are in the future here.
That's right.
Right. It's the last note I have on rhetoric is it's a reframing from what do I want Jared to know to what do I want Jared to feel.
That's right.
Right. It's a simple reframing. So I asked Jared to do 10 things, and 9 of them were great, and 1 he just totally crapped the bucket, and it wasn't done well.
Yep.
He turns it, he puts it on my desk, says, "Hey, review it. I got it all done." If I walk in and say, "Hey, number 10 was terrible. What are you talking like, idiot?
Yep.
Come on, do that again."
Yep.
That is what I want you to know. 1 through 9 is great. We don't need to talk about that. Number 10 sucks. Fix it. Right. That's what I want you to know.
Yep.
What I want you to feel is, you are at 90% success, and you have 2 tweaks away from getting 100%.
Yep.
And let me help you get there because it's super simple. A couple things. That's what I want you to feel. So, reframing it to what I want you to feel is, hey, all I got to do is add that a couple sentences in of, hey, I love what you did 1 through 9. I felt like you were in a good rhythm. By the time you got to number 10, I don't really get it. Like, tell me more how you got there.
Right. Yep.
And it's telling you the exact same thing, but framing it in a way that you're going to hear it better.
Yep.
Vice versa, Jared asked me for a list of 10 things. I give him a list. If he said, "Clark, number 10 needs to be fixed," I'd be like, "Great, done, 10, done, we're good, on to the next thing."
Yep.
So it's just a way of reframing it. Now, Jared would want to come approach me like, "Hey, Clark, I love 1 through 9. Tell me more about 3. What happened at number 7? That's great. Hey, number 10, let's chat about that."
Yeah. And once we get to that, you literally are going to feel like the last 10 minutes have been an absolute waste of my time.
What's not good? We need to keep moving forward. What's next? Like, what's not good here? Let's get it fixed. So, what do people want to feel? Not what do you want to tell them?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So number 4 of the 5 is compassion. Now, this is such a overused feelings word of compassion. But what do we mean by that? People over tasks. That's compassion. I care more about Jared than I do about money.
Right.
And that's hard to do with an employee, especially when they're losing you that money.
Yeah.
Right. And so having if I take care of my employees, my employees will take care of my customers, and my customers will take care of my money.
Yep.
Right. And so it goes downhill. So people over tasks. That doesn't mean, going back to my last example, the 1 through 10, I know Jared's going to really get down on himself if I talk about 10. So we're fine. We're just going to keep moving past it.
Right.
Because I care about Jared as a person. No, I'm going to talk about the failed task.
Right.
But I'm going to do it in a way that's building him up, because this is what Jared is trying to grow in.
That's
and
right.
he wants, and that's, if you want to build trust with someone, learn how to criticize in kindness.
Well, and that's, I mean, I feel like that goes along with, love doesn't feel like a hug.
Yeah.
Not all the time, right?
Yep.
Sometimes love is a hard conversation because I care enough about somebody to have a conversation and lead them in a direction that's going to be better for them.
Yep.
Right? Same concept, right? You're not going to excuse something that somebody needs out of like, well, I don't want to hurt their feelings. I want to, no.
Yeah.
Help them get better by having a hard conversation, but do it in a rhetoric that will come across well.
Yeah. So
right?
Systems with accountability take care of tasks, and leaders take care of people. If you want to go people over tasks, if you've got a system in place with accountability built in, the task will be taken care of.
Yeah.
You get your PAL meeting. I'm going to sit down with you once a week. We're going to look at this stuff. That's the system.
Yeah.
Now, all I got to do is take care of Jared, because
Yep.
he's got the task taken care of in our systematic way of laying things out. The problem is people don't have those systems. That's what Constructor Alliance does for you. But when people come in, the issue is I have to manage these tasks because this idiot project manager of mine doesn't know how to do it, and I tell him every single week, and he still does it wrong.
Yeah.
So now all you're doing is managing his tasks. And so how do we set up a system with accountability to handle the tasks where all I got to worry about is keeping you accountable and caring about you as the person?
Well, we've got a project manager that is so brain bent on task execution. It's just his thing. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just how he's wired. But because of that, he a lot of time misses the clients, and the clients don't. It's not that they don't like him; they just don't connect with him, right? And he's not a bad person. It's not that he's not nice. It's just he's only focused on execute, and he misses the people.
Yep.
Right? And so we've actually had to come in and give him opportunities of make a connection by doing these few
Holding
things.
a mirror up. How would you like it, and understanding this? So
Right.
if you've made it this far into the podcast,
Keep going.
you are probably a pretty self-aware person. If you're not, this is like that stupid guy. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
That being said, the last part of compassion, the difference between friendship and a regular relationship, and then me being a leader. Jared and I, when I brought you in, we were not friends. We knew each other from a past life,
Acquaintances.
10 years beforehand. We went to the same high school, but different grades.
Yeah.
And so we knew of each other. Your dad was my baseball coach in high school, but I still never knew you really.
Right.
And we started our relationship as I was the leader of the company and you were an employee. It's grown over the last 12 years-ish.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is. Because we've taken on different roles, and you've kind of stepped into the management side and part owner, all this other stuff.
Right.
So that part of it has changed. But understanding the difference, and especially for the compassionate people that are already very compassionate and good with people first and people over tasks, you have to check yourself to where you're not friends with your employees. You're friends. You're friendly. You care. You're a leader. It's like me as a dad with my children. I care. I'm more than friends with my daughter, right? She's 12, and we're more than just friends. Like I can't have a day without seeing her, right? Like that's more than friends. But I'm also not going to be like, hey, Tinley, we're really stressing out on money. I don't know if we're going to make it this month.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that to her because there is this role as a father to a 12-year-old child that I might say, hey, we can't go out to eat this week, okay? And I need you to understand we're fine. We're going to make it. I'm not going to lie to you that we don't have the extra money to go out to eat. And so I need you to understand that. So in that same way, my friendship with the people that I'm leading at my company is not a friendship in the manner that you have out in the world. Right. A friendship in the world is you carry my burdens, I carry your burdens. There's times that I'm low and you're picking me up. There's times that you're low and I'm picking you up. And there is that friendship level.
You're shouldering each other.
Yes. Yeah. And as a leader, it is a one-way relationship. And that's where a lot of people get it wrong is there are people we coach, many people we've coached that are, but that's not fair. Like, I'm just going to show them everything because they need to know what's going on here. And like, this is where I feel, and this is where my problems. And they are putting their burdens on their employees to carry because it seems fair because I'm carrying all of their burdens, right? And in a friendship that works. In a company that is a recipe for disaster, and you're killing the ability to make them feel secure here with purpose and belonging, because it's like, well, you're kind of the boss. Like, I can't really tell you what I really feel. Like, you're being a jerk to that person because you could fire me. So I kind of got to be guarded with that information you gave me. And I'm really scared that we're out of money, and I might put together a resume, but I'm not going to say it to you. Right. So there's all these layers that it's not an open relationship that you think it is because they can't say certain things to you. You're their boss. So that's part of the compassion side is not getting it confused with we're best of friends and I'm telling you everything because I want to be compassionate.
Right.
5, stabilizer, and this one's a lot shorter than the other ones, but this is the final one, and I love it because we've said it before. I'm the calmest heartbeat in the room. As a leader, you are the calmest heartbeat in the room. And so you're a stabilizer. What does that mean? I am looking at Jared, and when Jared's at a 10 high, I'm going to be at a -2. Right? So when Jared's crashing down to -10 in anger and just down on himself, I'm going to be a +2. And what does that mean? So when Jared's like, hey, if back when we were running jobs, we landed 3 new jobs. They're at 38%. We got $400,000 signed today worth of jobs. We're killing it, blah, blah, and just all on cloud 9. I'm celebrating. Hey, that's awesome. That's great. But hey, I love it that they're at 32% profit. Remember, the last 3 jobs started there and ended at 18%. So what are we doing? How are we going to get this started in a better way? Bringing you back down to the middle, right? I don't want to kill it. I don't want to be the wet blanket. But at the same time, hey, reality, long-term vision of what's going on. It's a win today, but that doesn't mean it's a win for the month. So let's celebrate this win and keep moving, and vice versa. Jared's like, I hate this and these clients and this, and I don't have any more jobs that are in my pipeline. Like, I don't know what I'm doing next week, and he's getting into this negative headspace. I'm like, hey, you're killing it. We're good. We've got these estimates out there. And I'm building it back up. I equate stabilizer. The best college football coach in the world, Kirby Smart, as he does. You look at his halftime interviews, right? When he's coming in, when the Georgia Bulldogs, the best team in the nation, are winning the game, and we're up by 30 at half against probably Alabama. When we are winning at halftime, right? And they interview him. What does he say? Right? Kirby Smart says, well, you know what? We had that turnover. The defense is playing like crap. I don't know how they don't have more points on us because we're doing terrible over there. Our quarterback is 11 for 22, which is not where we need it. And it's nothing but negativity. And then you switch it. If we're accidentally losing at halftime to a really good team, but we're down by 20 points, which rarely happens. When that's happening, he's like, we're good. We had one issue. We had this one thing, and it's nothing but positivity. I am stabilizing the voice of the company. Right? When things are bad, I'm going to talk about the good. When things are great, I'm going to say, hey, but we got stuff to work on.
Well, and what's interesting about that analogy in the first one where, they're they're really killing it at halftime, right? And he's, no, we've got to get these things correct and whatever. It's not because he's being a negative Nancy, right? It's because he sees forward to the next 2 quarters and knows that this team has the opportunity to really dial it in and come back and put the hammer to us.
Or sit back and check the box that I've completed my task of hard work.
He has the vision through past experience of what's coming. And so I can't stay at a high. I got to bring it back down to reality, right? And so that's the idea, the stabilizer.
That's right.
And that stabilizer is based off the focus of, based on my past experience and where we're going, I know the opportunities of things that can happen, so we got to get back on track. We got to be back in the middle.
That's right. So that's it. Those are the 5 things that Look into how your actions are with your employees. Rate yourself 1 to 10 in what we did on the retreat. Ownership, effort, rhetoric, compassion, stabilizer. Where can you improve in those 5 areas? Even if you're a one-man show, with your crews, with your crew leads, with your customers, how do we be a leader in this company? Because we set the bar now, we start hiring in people, and that's how we act.
Yep.
And so get those 5 things, start working on those actions. You're building vision and trust and support with your employees and the people you're leading, and you're creating a sense of security, a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose in your employees by doing this.
Yeah. One way, if you have a fair amount of employees, 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever. I mean, if it's 1, it doesn't work. But if you have more than 1 employee, you can create a Google form or something of an anonymous questionnaire.
Yeah.
Put a test out there.
Yep.
Put it up to let your crew leads fill it out. Let your because the reality is that everybody thinks they're a good leader. Everybody does. We actually just on the retreat, everybody filled out a form and one of the questions was, how are you at leading? Blah blah blah. I don't think there's anybody that put less than like a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, and those are our people. The 2 people that did put that low are just going to always kill themselves, right? They're always like, I'm never going to be a 10 ever, right?
So everybody as a boss in a company thinks that they are great.
8 to 9.
Right.
Yep.
You can get better, and what I can guarantee you is what you think is not accurate.
Yeah.
Right? There are variables to that, and give your people the opportunity to have a voice, but not be held accountable to it.
Yep.
Right? Yep. And you'll get to see behind the curtain and be like, oh, cool. I really do need to work on the ownership or the rhetoric or the whatever.
Well, and the self-awareness is also having self-confidence in terms of like, I can hear that if Jared were like, Clark, I just think that you're a narcissist.
Yeah.
I can say, I don't believe that I am, but obviously I've done something to make you think that. Tell me where that comes. Like, I'd love to make sure that I'm not putting off those vibes towards you. Like, I'm not. Help me understand that. Not you're in it. I'm a narcissist. You're the I've got to know that. Oh man, I don't think I am, and this guy's perceiving this. Help me understand this.
Be an investigator.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Curiosity, right? Not conflict. And so, understanding that with all of these things is, I want feedback from all 5 of these areas of where I'm failing, because I'm. If I knew it, I wouldn't be failing in it.
That's right.
And if I'm failing in it, it's because I don't know it. Yep. So help me understand it as a leader. So I think that's great, Jared.
Cool.
All right. If you guys want to chat with us, go to prostruct360.com, hit the contact. If you need software, our software implements all of our systems and processes. It's a very nice software. It's not just something we put together. It's been 10 years of building and millions put into it to grow it to the spot that it's at. So if you need a software, please check us out. Try it out for free. We'd love to show you that, do a demo for you. If you want to talk about your business and your company, please hit us up. We'd love to chat with you about that, give you some free coaching. For us, it's the long-term relationship that we want with all of our contractors.
Well, and if you got comments about this video,
please
put them in.
Yep.
Put them in the YouTube, or send us emails, whatever you want. We'd love to chat about
Put it
that.
in the YouTube.
Put it in the YouTube.
All right. Have a good week. We'll talk to you next week.
See ya.